All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the emphasis that we're putting on things that may seem relatively unimportant. Things like using apostrophes, not writing words like don't, using uppercase I's. Why does it matter for instructors to do this? Well, it matters. The why it matters for instructors is obvious because whatever you do, kids are going to mimic. And so if you write don't, they're going to write don't. And if you write lowercase I, they're going to write lowercase I. But the question is, why? What difference does it make? So let me start off with this. You guys aren't normal. Like none of you guys are. You guys are at the maximum end of intelligence. How do I know? Well, because we make sure of it before we hire you guys. It's and then having interacted with you guys, spoken with you guys, seen you guys' insights on things, none of you guys are even close to what's categorized as normal. Now, some of you guys might think that you are because you look at your immediate surroundings, like, among math people and computer people and be like, oh, none of those guys are normal either. None of those people are normal. That's not what normal is like. So here's how you guys' brains generally are, if I was going to describe you guys' brains. You guys operate between two modes. One is a very intense, brain on overdrive type mode, which is when you're taking, say, a test. If you're taking an exam, you're in intense brain overdrive. And then the other times you guys are in not very intense brain overdrive. That's if you're like lying on the couch and thinking about whatever it is you guys get up to thinking about. And so if you guys are doing something in a kind of like relaxed type way, if you're hanging out on the couch, it doesn't mean your brain is off. It means you're thinking about whatever problem it is you're thinking about. If you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling, you're thinking about whatever type of problem you're thinking about, whatever intellectual or thing, whatever it is that you're thinking about, that's what's happening. So if one of you guys was a Vor Method student and came in from a couch or a bed, it just wouldn't matter because you guys are always thinking. You'd be thinking in that environment, but that's not normal. Trust me, none of that is what people do. What people do is they have their brain on or they have their brain totally off and checked out. And when somebody's brain is totally off and checked out, their learning is going to go down. They're going to be, their parents will be paying like a lot more money to get like a lot less. Their level of inspiration is going to go down. So what we do, especially because we're in an online room, if we were in the same thing, like in the same room, that might be a little bit different. But in an online environment, we have to be 10 times more careful. Because in addition to being able to be just checked out, they can be checked out and playing video games, checked out and chatting with their delinquent friends on Skype or whatever. There's a lot of different ways that people can be totally checked out. And that can be very, 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 very problematic. Because what that's going to do is make it so they can't teach them. We can't get anywhere. We have all the things that we don't want having happen over here. So it's really, really vital that we prevent students from going into that totally like, let me turn my brain off and check out mode. Now, when students are texting their friends, lazy texting, using the sort of modern lazy text conventions, they're in that mode. They're in the brain off lazy mode. And we do not want students to be in that mode in class ever. In order to make sure that they're not doing that, we need to make sure you guys don't do those things. So here's why. People have asked, like, well, how's that any different from just using a lowercase y? Lowercase y is not part of a lazy texting convention yet. When it becomes one, we'll have to stop using it. But at the moment, we use y and n, but most people don't use y and n. So our goal is to keep kids out of that lazy texting mode of existence, that lazy mindset. So during class, in addition to making sure that students don't use don't, you guys also need to not use don't or lowercase I or anything like that. And when you do, we're going to have you have documented coaching on it, and hopefully that'll take care of the issues, and we don't have to take it any further than that. If you guys have any questions about this, though, this is something that I'm totally happy to discuss. You guys want to set up a meeting with me, either formal, informal, that's totally cool, or with Chelsea or whoever you feel comfortable with. So that is going to be a major focal point for the next little bit. We want to make sure that we are setting the standard of intensity to let students know what we expect, what level of intensity we expect from them. Now, one more thing on this topic. People ask, well, so what do I do when a student types don't? Well, we're not going to have the VMH deal with it. We're going to deal with it at the human level. And let me explain what you do. You just pause the thing, Remember, this is not in any way going to affect our agreement with students' parents. Let me explain why. Our agreement with students' parents is that we think our class will take about 100 hours after prerequisites. Using apostrophes is a prerequisite. So if you spend 23 and a half hours on apostrophes, that doesn't affect anything that I've told anybody's parents. It is in no way different. Now, obviously, if you need to do that, make sure you send a message to their parents. So here's what generally what to do. The first thing to do is ask to make sure that the student knows how to do apostrophes. They might not. A lot of people don't actually know how to use apostrophes. That's why they avoid them. If they do know how to use apostrophes, then just let them know that during class they should use standard apostrophes, and then have them redo whatever it is that they did previously with the correct. So if they write "I don't know," then have them rewrite that just in using the standard apostrophe convention. Now, let's say they refuse to immediately alert a lead instructor. That's what lead instructors are there for. They're there to handle those type of disciplinary things. Lead instructors, if that happens, first of all, immediately text the parents, let them know that using non-standard English can make the class take longer and cost a lot more, and that using non-standard English in class can make the class cost several $1,000s more. Let me know, and I'll follow up with the parents as well, so that they know how seriously we're taking this. If necessary, we can set up I or you guys can set up a meeting with the parents to discuss this thing. Students who are writing Dont and lowercase I will take 5,000 hours to never learn this material. And that's not the service we want to be offering. We don't want people spending $150,000 to get nothing. If they want to spend $150,000, that's great, but we want them to get something out of it at the end. So lead instructors follow up disciplinarily. If necessary, everybody else, make sure that you follow up on this thoroughly. We're going to get rid of all lowercase i's and all dons, both from instructors and students, in this next period.